year on the road, and Kansas would be a great place to get it. You think about Kansas, it starts with Mr. Naismith, Bog Allen, Roy Williams. The beat goes on. Great, great players. They need a statement victory, a confidence builder to get that swagger. Both clubs are searching.
Let's look at our Star Watch right now. One of the reasons Kansas is searching, they are so young. They're led by a freshman, Brandon Rush, at almost 12 points per game. Tremendously talented. Rajon Rondo, with the minds of many, is complete a guard as there is in America. For more on Rondo and the rest of the Cats, let's go to Doris Burke.
Well, consistency, certainly a term that Tubby Smith would like to be able to apply to both Rondo and his basketball team. In an attempt to bring that about, Dan, he instituted 6:30 a.m. practices, something he doesn't employ typically until February. Combine that with a 45-minute meeting with Rajon Rondo, something that is also not atypical for this program. He meets with his players throughout the course of the season. They discussed roles, they discussed the expectations, and Dick, probably no more important relationship than between a point guard and a head coach.
Well, I'll tell you one thing. Rondo's a kid that likes to have the basketball in his hands. They want him to distribute a little bit more. But when your team has your point guard who leads you in scoring, rebounding, and assists, that is trouble, especially when your point guard has to be the best rebounder.
Let's check out the starting lineup. So to get Kansas very young, they start 2 freshmen, 2 sophomores. Mario Chalmers out of Alaska playing much better of late. For Kentucky, other than Rondo, who's going to fill it up? Patrick Sparks is struggling offensively, but still gets the start in the lineup for Kentucky. Today's telecast is available on ESPN HD, presented by DLP Picture Technology. What a special place this is among the very best in America. Allen Fieldhouse, now more than 50 years old. And the Kansas Jayhawks like their home cooking, Dickie V. They play very well in this building, and there is never an empty seat.
I tell you what also, very synonymous with both programs. Some of the most passionate fans in all of college basketball. I mean, blue is running wild all over this arena today, and they are out. It may be 11 in the morning here, 12 Eastern time, but these people have been juiced up like you can't believe, ready for this.
Kentucky has more wins than any program in the history of college basketball. Kansas is 3rd, North Carolina number 2, Kentucky in visiting blue, Kansas in home white to control the opening tip.
They're playing Robinson now at the point guard. They've decided to put the ball in his hands and take the ball away from Chalmers and Hawkins when he comes in.
Robinson, a sophomore out of New York City, 19 assists, only 3 turnovers in his last 3 games. Here's Chalmers with a floater.
He's a type of guy. He came out of Alaska. They're a very young basketball team, but a talented team.
Both of these teams, their coaches sincerely hope and believe will be much better in several weeks than they are now, and that they're better now than they were a few weeks ago. Still searching for the rotation and the identity.
Kentucky's going to obviously get better when they get Randolph Morris in that lineup.
And he'll be back Tuesday against Vanderbilt. Rukash Orbjut, the 7-footer, misses the hook. And inside with the offensive rebound and drawing the foul is Sheree Thomas. How big a game is this? Not only Kansas and Kentucky. Look who's here today.
Ashley's in the house. Oh, Ashley Judd is in the house. Donna gets a hug. That's Tubby's wife. How come I didn't get a hug? She didn't come over here.
Maybe you'll, I'm sure you'll work it out at halftime. I know you. Sheree Thomas, a junior out of Montreal, 6'7", goes to the line for Tubby Smith, an inside player, a role player.
You know, I mentioned Randolph Morris. Let me tell you what he's going to add to the whole formula. When you watch now Thomas, who's going to the line, one thing that's been negative in Kentucky, they're getting very little point production in the post area. And number 2, they're not going to the foul line. Right. Last year, Morris shot 143 free throws. That means he's going to create spacing for the guards. He'll have post presence. I know they'll see him on Tuesday night making his debut in the SEC.
And that game a part of Super Tuesday on ESPN at 9 Eastern. And Tubby Smith says, yeah, Randolph Morris is going to make us better, but he is cautioning everybody to say,
it's not a savior.
He will not fix everything that ails their team right now.
My guy Brad Nessler, I'm sure, is all ready to talk about the debut of Mr. Morris this year.
Kentucky 10-3 on the season. They have a couple of nice wins. They've beaten West Virginia. They've beaten Louisville. Their losses to Iowa, North Carolina, and then getting absolutely blown out by Indiana.
Blown out by Indiana and really hung on for dear life against Central Florida. Won that game in the last second by Rondo's jump shot.
Christian Moody, surrounded by Wildcats, gets rid of it. Shot clock down to 7. It bounces out of bounds. It'll stay with Kansas.
Last year, Bill Self made the journey to Rupp Arena and had to go there without Mr. Simeon, and they were able to get a W. Got a great performance out of Giles and also out of Moody in that game.
Yeah, Giles 10 points, 5 for 5 from the floor. This rivalry is very one-sided, surprisingly.
19-4,
19-4, Kentucky leads. Kansas has won 3 of the last 6, so it was 16-1. Kentucky at one point. One Kansas win in this building. In fact, the last time Kentucky was here 16 years ago, 150 to 95 for Kansas.
I promised I wouldn't mention that for Mr. Pitino.
Brandon Rush, as the shot clock is winding down, and it'll bounce out of bounds to the Wildcats. Rick Pitino's first year, he was rebuilding, did not have a deep team. Roy Williams had a terrific team, and apparently Kentucky kept pressing and Kansas kept scoring, and they beat him 150 to 95.
Had no more timeouts, and Roy said, hey, I'll pull a timeout for you, Rick. And Rick had some choice words, which we cannot repeat.
That's right. Rondo, they step out on him. Here's Thomas, who had the free throws earlier. Sparks draws the foul, and Sparks rarely able to create putting the ball on the floor. More of a standstill shooter, but Mario Chalmers commits the foul.
See, I think that Sparks is really going to benefit from Morris's presence. He's going to get more open looks, Doris.
No question, Dick, but in reference to that 150-95 loss, Tubby Smith, an assistant, he was actually recruiting, landed on the ground, heard the score, and went back to the airport, guys. Great block inside.
Great decision by Tubby. Great block inside. Now Robinson has it almost taken away by Rondo. Rush with that super block down at the other end.
Yeah, well, Rush is a diaper dandy, gives him some point production. Here he is now going to come from the help area, has the great angle for the block shot. He's a diaper dandy that's been an impact player, and they got some outstanding young players. Julian Wright is going to be special.
And Rush, of course, comes from a prominent basketball family. Big brother Kareem at Missouri, now in the NBA. Jerron played at UCLA. As again, Rondo, Dick, he gets his hands on almost every pass.
He's got quick hands. He's an Velcro man. He's a terrific defensive player. I did something this morning for Motion, my 5 best defensive players, and you know the name I mentioned, Mr. Rondo, right in that group.
And Kyle Lowry, who we saw at Villanova a couple of nights ago, is on that team.
Hassan Adams.
Yeah. Whoa, what a screen as Rondo is leveled by Giles, but bounces right back up to his feet, and a push inside on Rukash Orbju.
Take a look right here. You're going to see the screen coming right in that area.
Wow.
There's the screen. No communication. In fact, when you and I were in the locker room, what's the one item he wrote on the board? Communicate on screen.
That's right. He had it underlined. He had exclamation points. Here's Rush on the drive over Orbju, and Bill Self says all he needs from Rush is to be a little bit more assertive, to go be the man, even though he's only a freshman.
He went right by Orbju. I'll tell you one thing, Rush can score inside out, he can top the basket.
Very impressive player, part of a 4-deep freshman class for Kansas. Thomas, the kick to Orbju, knocked out of bounds by Chalmers.
Kentucky really having a difficult time because of no post presence. Rush certainly early in the game. Here he's attacking the basket, goes right by Orbju. Sparks didn't give any help. Should step into the driving lane and cut that angle.
Back into the hands of Rondo. Kentucky, when they do well offensively, tend to get a lot of points off turnovers. In the half court, they can really struggle.
They've had a tough time scoring, as you said, Dan.
That guy can help him. Joe Crawford follows his miss and muscles it in.
He's got big-time offensive ability. He's battled some injuries coming out of Detroit. Rumor was he was going to leave last year. Played behind as a bouquet, but now he's going to get a lot of playing time. And I think he's a star on the horizon.
Had a 23-point game against Ohio, averaging just over 9 per game. A turnover committed by the Jayhawks.
The one common denominator of Tubby Smith's clubs, they're going to defend you.
Yes.
They're going to play tough on the defensive side, and especially when they have ball presence out of Rondo.
Rondo being defended by Russell Robinson as he moves into the front court. Rondo leading them in just about every statistical category. Misses the left-handed layup, and back come the Jayhawks. They want to run a little bit on Kentucky if they can.
They worked a long time yesterday trying to attack zones. I think they're going to see some zone out of Kentucky.
Robinson wide open. Oh, the follow is missed by Giles, who misses again, but Kansas still has the ball.
John's got to dunk that baby.
Rush takes a bump, finishes strong. What a good start for him.
Starting off on fire like we saw him in the game against St. Joe's. He did the same thing. Free throw line was a disaster in that game. 6 for 19 cost them to come home with an L.
Otherwise, they win that game. Robinson commits the foul for Kansas. How about Brandon Rush, Dick?
Yeah, here's Brandon Rush now attacking the basket. He's playing very aggressive on the offensive side.
He has 4 of their 6. Robinson will sit down. Jeff Hawkins comes into the game. Giles will sit down as well. Sasha Khan comes into the game. Bill Self's been playing about 11 players, but told us he'd like to get the rotation down to 8 or 9, but he still doesn't know exactly who his best players are.
He said people aren't separating themselves. They're not really stepping up and getting that separation. There's a sameness.
They have 9 players averaging at least 5 points per game.
Look at Kentucky, only one guy in double figures, Rondo.
Shagari Aline, I believe, called for the offensive foul away from the ball. Well, we'll talk about the Cats getting Randolph Morris back on Tuesday night when we come back from this timeout.
Comes standard.
Dickie V spent a little quality time with everybody's got your hairdo up in the student section today. How'd that happen?
Look at those ugly suckers, man. You got to get your ball going, not just mine.
Kansas over Kentucky by 2. The Wildcats, as we mentioned, will be boosted by the return of Randolph Morris on Tuesday. Suspended for his association with an agency when he put his name into the NBA draft. Here's Doris on Morris.
Randolph Morris serving the final game of a 14-game suspension, 50% of the regular season. His family has got to pay back $7,000, which he accepted when he was traveling to NBA teams to work out with them. The first $2,500 of which has gone to the United Negro College Fund. The NBA teams do not get that money back. It goes to charities, the NCAA dictating which charity that goes to. Now, I talked to Rajon Rondo yesterday. He said we were all a little bit hurt and disappointed. He said, but we have accepted him back. In fact, he has been dominant in practice. He's leaned out, and the most important things, perhaps, guys, Randolph Morris has been very assertive and dominant in practice.
Well, you know the great thing, Doris, I said earlier, he's going to give him a post presence, and he's going to get to the free throw line. He shot 143 free throws last year, and they're getting zilch on the middle. Hey, it's amazing. You look at Tubby Smith. Think about this. Since the start of the 2002-03 season, he enters today 97-18.
Wow.
That's pretty good.
In a tough conference, when everybody's got Kentucky marked on their schedule and a target on their back.
That's a great
no
point.
Basket. A foul is called against Kentucky. It'll go on Ramel Bradley.
That's a great point you made, Dan. When you think about certainly Notre Dame in football, you think about Kentucky and Duke, Carolina in basketball, everybody plays at another level. They circle that game, and those kids that are wearing the uniforms for Notre Dame or Carolina or Duke or Kentucky have to respond and play at a higher level.
Do you think there's as much pressure to be the Kentucky head coach as any basketball job in America?
Oh, I think without a doubt, because at Kentucky, the fans are so passionate, they care so much. Every loss, they have a way to dramatize it and make it bigger than life. And they don't realize other people get players too. There's the zone. That's why he's been working yesterday on the zone.
It'll stay with Kansas. Plenty of time on the shot clock. Yeah, Kansas worked a lot in practice yesterday on the zone. Bill Self said he expected to see Tubby Smith play some here today.
I think a lot of Kentucky people just can't wait until they see Morris. I just hope they realize not to label him and think that he's going to be the savior. He's going to be a great addition. As we're seeing throughout America, a lot of teams getting a lift. Josh Shipp had 14 the other night, was a big difference maker against Arizona and a big win for UCLA on the road.
Raquelin Sims, a junior college transfer, number 42, commits the foul for Kentucky. Rush hot early and open for 3.
He's looking big time today. He is really feeling it.
Not forcing it, letting it come to him, but he's still got 7 of the Jayhawks' 9 points.
That's an excellent point as well. Shot selection, making sure you take legitimate good shots in the offense.
This is a very young Kansas team that has really had some ups and downs. They're 8-4, but they have a lot of talent, and they're on a 5-game winning streak right now.
Good ball movement, steps up, shot that from Kansas City, man. From Herman Edwards' country down there, just got the job with the Chiefs.
Ramel Bradley in the backcourt along with Rajon Rondo. This is Rondo, had a 19-rebound game earlier this year.
Bradley can score.
Leaves the 3 a little bit short. Bradley has scored more, played better of late, and starting to get more playing time.
Well, Bradley and Rondo give him a little bit more athleticism on the perimeter.
Sparks on the bench right now. Chalmers for 3. Still in play, and it's Rush with the offensive rebound.
Right now, Kansas is not hustling Kentucky.
Yep.
They're much more aggressive, getting second shots. I mean, you can't allow them second opportunities.
I like how Rush dribbled it out of there, too. Didn't force it again, even though he's got the hot hand. Kahn misses the dunk.
Had an easy play right there. Should have jammed that baby.
And Chalmers will be called for the foul. Home court advantage continues today on ESPN and ESPN2. Right after us here on ESPN, it's unbeaten Illinois taking on Iowa at Carver Hawkeye Arena. Then a good one over on ESPN2 at 3 Eastern. North Carolina State is in Chapel Hill to take on one of their arch rivals, the Tar Heels. 6 undefeateds remain, and you can watch one of them, Illinois, next right here on ESPN.
You know, Pittsburgh doesn't play until the 12th with the poll. They got the best chance to have the longest run of being unbeaten. Some of those clubs got some tough obstacles.
Dick, that foul on Chalmers was his second, by the way. He remains in the game. Again, Kansas is very deep.
Nice effort right now.
Look at this. Look at this struggle. Look at this struggle just to make a handoff.
Everybody's standing around taking pictures. There's not much movement, and that's one of the problems. See, Rondo has the ball, and everybody wants to watch him do his thing.
Shot clock at 1. They don't get it off.
Great job defensively. We can talk about no movement, but the crowd here stands up in joy and jubilation because a terrific effort on the defensive side by Kansas.
And this place explodes after that turnover committed by Kentucky. Kansas, a good defensive team like Kentucky. When they struggle, most often it's at the offensive end. We've got Julian Wright in the game now for the Jayhawks, a freshman out of Chicago Heights, Illinois. That time, they got it right, Dick.
They did a great job executing. They're getting high percentage shots. Could have had another one in a previous possession. They looked much better early in this game than you and I when we had them in the same game.
Now a steal by Chalmers, and he won't be caught.
I'll tell you right now, it's all Kansas. They need a TO, baby, and they're getting one. Tubby in the goal. Listen to this place rock.
A 9-0 run for the Jayhawks. A 9-point lead on their home courts. Back here at Lawrence, Kansas, Mario Chalmers, Sasha Kahn with a slam. They tried it before. They nailed it that time, but we are seeing a great start by Kansas here today.
Great two-man play right there off the screen. Great reaction, the emotion. Chalmers is going to be an excellent player. His dad is one of the assistant coaches, came out of Alaska.
Chalmers sitting down with a couple of fouls. Already 2 field goals, 2 assists today for the freshman from Anchorage, who, as we mentioned, is playing better and better with every passing game. Bobby Perry for 3. And a long rebound saved by Hawkins. But into the hands of Rondo for the reverse.
Rondo in the right place. Comes up with the steal, the conversion.
His rebounding, his defense alone put him among the elite point guards in America.
Well, he leads them in every category. I mean, you talk about all the important statistical categories.
Crossover by Rush, missed the long jumper, and Jeff Hawkins with a rebound.
Kentucky not quick to the basket.
No. Kansas with a very active group on the floor right now. Rush banks it in. He's having some kind of day.
Kentucky's got to step it up. Somebody's got to set the tone, get a little bit aggressive out there. They don't seem to be aggressive.
They have played some tough games away from home. They have won away from home. Kansas is the team, really, Dick, as you mentioned off the top, really looking for this statement of victory. Kansas has lost to Arizona and to Arkansas. They have lost the games against the top-notch competition. St. Joe's, their best win was against Cal. They also lost to Nevada. 3 of their 4 losses, mind you, by 3 points or fewer.
And the Nevada game was on his floor with Facekas went bananas.
That's a good Nevada team.
35.
Ravi Moss into the game.
Got to make that open shot.
Missed the jumper from the elbow, and Kansas seems to be dominating on the glass right now.
They seem to be a step ahead of the action.
Nice entry feed from Hawkins to Kahn. Gets it back again. Now they double him, and he's fouled. Gerald Boudreau with the call.
Kentucky certainly had the great win over Louisville when they blitzed Louisville. That was Louisville's first loss.
Ravi Moss with a foul. All season long, the ESPN family of networks will chronicle a great basketball moment from each Division I school. ESPNU's pride of the program, featuring a great scoring performance, is on the way after this break. All Kansas in the early going here at Allen Fieldhouse. Time now for ESPNU's Pride of the Program. And today in the spotlight, Furman. It was Frank Selvey night at Furman, and the star guard responded in kind, putting on the greatest scoring display in college hoops history, scoring 100 points in a single game. That night, Selvey would say later, I felt like I could do just about anything I wanted to on the basketball court. And how about this, Dick? He had 98 in the closing seconds and apparently launched a one-handed runner from about 60 feet away that went in for his final 2 points of the game.
Basket must have been like the Atlantic Ocean. I remember this. There was no three-point shot.
That's right.
Can you imagine that? Mr. Selvey, he was automatic, man.
Well, the basket certainly isn't looking as big as the Atlantic Ocean for the Kentucky Wildcats right now. One field goal in 5 minutes and 15 seconds. And we mentioned in the half court especially, Dick, they are challenged offensively. Well, Rondo's their only real big scorer.
They have two major factors. It's ball movement and post presence. Either case, are they getting any of that?
Crawford and Bradley, both guys who can help, not much on the interior for Kentucky. Sasha Khan misses the jump hook, and back come the Cats, led by Ramel Bradley.
Bradley's got a couple points on the board for him. He can score.
No Rondo on the floor right now. We'll see how that changes things. Moss, Crawford, and Bradley on the perimeter for Kentucky.
Played one game without Rondo. That was against Georgia State. Certainly not super big-time competition, but they played exceptionally well.
Crawford's three rattles out. Now the Cats are on the glass, and a strong finish for Sheree Thomas.
Thomas attacks the glass there, gives him that offensive rebounder. He's one of those role players.
Julian Wright, the lob inside for Khan. Great pass, nice finish.
Getting the ball inside too easily. Khan with that post position. He went through a little slide where he was ill for a while and then just was a little bit ran into a wall. Seems to be coming back. Good defense right there.
Russell Robinson with the steal, and he draws the foul. Moss commits it. Well, keep in mind right now, neither of Kentucky's 7-footers are in the game. Tubby Smith will go small. Kansas takes advantage right away, Dick.
Take a look right on the interior right now. Khan wants the basketball. He's going to be begging for it right inside. They get the good angle for him, enter it, and he gets the layup. I'll tell you, he's one of the most improved post players in America. Robinson was going to the line, came out of Rice High School, producing right now. There's two great players. You talk about a kid named Curtis Kelly going to Connecticut, and a kid that's going to be going to Louisville by name of Sosa.
Shigari Aline from Kentucky also played at Rice High.
Felipe Lopez also, St. John's.
Changes coming. That foul on Moss was his second. He'll sit down. Rondo comes back in. Khan out and Giles back in for Kansas. I get the feeling that Bill Self believes that Giles and Khan pretty soon are going to put it all together and become one of the best front courts in the Big 12.
Well, they certainly have a chance. They got a great opportunity. They're going on a road playing against Colorado. By the way, Ricardo Patton's club, Richard Roby, they're 10-1. They only lost one game. They got them at home at Colorado on, I believe, Tuesday night.
Kansas looking for that signature win. They've got their largest lead of the game, up 10 midway through the first half. Bradley again misses the jumper. No passes, no screens, nobody's moving in the half.
Well, you take a look right there. He's dominating, putting the ball on the floor, and everybody's standing around, becoming like the Kodak band. They all want to take pictures.
There's Julian Wright inside over Sims, a little bit strong, and Sims brings down the rebound.
Wright's been giving him a lot of production off that bench recently.
Rondo into traffic. Now Crawford for three. The outside shots aren't falling, and there's no inside offense to speak of for Kentucky.
Wow. I can't remember the last time seeing Kentucky without more than one double-figure scorer.
Rush behind a screen, misses the three, and Giles over the back commits the foul. We've got a triple header coming up for you. Big Monday begins, all a part of home court advantage. Number 2, Connecticut, still stinging, no doubt, from that loss to Marquette against a very good Cincinnati team that is opening some eyes. Texas at Iowa State, a very tough place to go. And then number 9 to Gonzaga against Santa Clara. 3 ranked teams. Big Monday.
You know, you take a look at Cincinnati going out of Connecticut. It looks a little strange when you say Big East and you say Cincinnati. Well, what a year they're having. I thought the post-Bobby Huggins era, they would struggle.
Conference play beginning in earnest today or Monday night in some cases. Rondo down in the post, travels.
Well, you know, the season's broken down, I believe, into 4 parts, 4 phases. You have the pre-conference schedule, then the conference schedule, and then the post-conference tournament, and then obviously the big dance. Those are the 4 parts. Right now, you get no more cupcakes. I mean, every game you got to come to play.
Give me one big surprise and one big disappointment from phase 1 of the schedule.
Well, I think Stanford's been a major disappointment to me. I thought they were going to be a lot better. And a surprise, Florida being unblemished right now.
Sparks open for 3. Boy, they need him to heat up, don't they?
They need his strength.
Yep.
Florida really being undefeated to me is a real surprise.
Kansas beating Kentucky down the floor. Robinson with a lay-in.
Just much more aggressive. Kansas is certainly the aggressor this afternoon.
Sims will take a 3. Kentucky doing nothing but shooting 3-pointers, and none of them are falling right now.
Getting no offensive execution. And you know how hard they work on their different sets.
Kentucky is 0 for 6 from 3-point range.
Sims is struggling. Had a big game his first game.
Giles is pushed from behind. What a start for Kansas, and conversely, what an awful start for Kentucky. The Kansas Jayhawks have looked like the hungrier team, the more aggressive team here at Allen Fieldhouse, a part of home court advantage, one of the best, one of the most historic environments in all of college basketball. Allen Fieldhouse, along with Dick Vitale and Doris Burke. I'm Dan Shulman, and this Kentucky team, I think everybody would agree, they are not a great offensive team. This is not the most talented of Kentucky teams that we have seen, and their offense, their shooting numbers going down and down. That Central Florida game, Dick, was on their own home court, and they needed an off-balance shot by Rajon Rondo with a second to go to win that game.
Yeah, no question. Central Florida has never beaten an SEC team. That would have been their first.
Giles at the line for Kansas.
Think about all the great players. I mean, they had 8 first-round draft picks from 1993 to 99. When you think of Mashburn, Antoine Walker, and Delk, McCarty, Mercer, Anderson, Muhammad, Paget. I mean, they don't have that kind of personnel.
Think about the connections between these two programs, too. It goes way back. Of course, James Naismith, the first coach here, invented the game. Phog Allen.
Rupp one here.
Yeah, Phog Allen played for him. Adolph Rupp, the legendary coach at Kentucky, played at Kansas for Phog Allen. So a big-time connection, an historic connection between these two programs.
You know what I really miss from this team? A guy that wasn't a spectacular player, but was so solid. Chuck Holmes.
Yes.
He was an aggressive guy.
Underappreciated.
Yes, sir. Get people to play. Azubuike gave him points. Should have came back to college instead of being bounced around the development league, but had some personal issues he had to deal with in terms of his family. But the real problem is now they have nobody stepping up other than Rondo to give him scoring.
Shigari Alina back in for Kentucky. Again, and maybe Randolph Morris can help with that when he returns for the Vanderbilt game on ESPN Tuesday. Stephen Vincent, number 20, into the game now for the first time for Kansas. A former walk-on, now on scholarship, runs the offense, makes good decisions. Sparks trying to shake Chalmers. Rondo juggled on the catch. Kick out to Sparks for 3. Another miss.
He's got to make those threes. They need it out of him. If he's not making threes, he becomes a liability.
Well, think about the big shots he had last year with the game we did against Louisville, and then, of course, in the NCAA tournament against Michigan State, although the Spartans would go on to win. But he was a big-time performer for them last year.
That was in the Elite Eight. They won 28 games. Tubby's done an amazing job since he's been there. And as you said earlier, expectations are always so high with that Kentucky uniform.
Jump hook by Giles, rattles out, kept alive by Moody. Wide open Vincent for 3. And a foul underneath is going against Kansas. It will be on Moody, I believe. We'll step aside. Kentucky desperately searching for some offense here in Lawrence.
Winning changes everything, including the way people think. I'm Josh Lucas, and I play legendary Texas Western coach Don Haskins in Glory Road, the story of the team that changed the game forever. Check it out January 13th. Now back to college hoops on ESPN.
Well, you and I had the opportunity to see the movie Glory Road, a special screening yesterday here in Lawrence. The story of the 1966 Texas Western team, the significance, historical and social significance, the first time a team with 5 African-American starters had ever competed for a national championship, and they beat Kentucky to win that championship. You and I just both loved the movie.
Well, you know, I was crying my eyes out. So was Doris Burke, yourself. So emotional, a roller coaster of emotions, the pain that they had to go through in pursuing that championship. I believe that team revolutionized the landscape of college basketball. If you like Remember the Titans, you're going to love this movie. To me, on a scale of 5 being the best, I'd give it a 5+. It was absolutely awesome, baby.
Texas Western, now known as UTEP, Texas El Paso beating Kentucky. They also beat Kansas in the regional final to get to the Final Four that year back in '66. Another Kentucky turnover. Chalmers from the baseline. The follow is there for C.J. Giles.
This is the worst execution I have seen in watching Tubby Smith's basketball team in terms of executing half court in the last 5 years. I mean, really very stagnant, no ball movement, no player movement. And really, when you look on the floor, the players don't seem to have that tremendous intensity and emotion.
Nobody boxing out. Giles went right by a lean down an open lane. Now Giles just committed his second foul, so he's going to have to come out. But the Jayhawks have been extremely energetic and opportunistic here today.
And you know, I feel for Tubby and David Hobbs and company. They worked so hard. Reggie Hansen, we watched them last night, really preparing, but they really just lack post presence, and they don't have the kind of personnel they've had over the years. It's as simple as case as that. Bottom line. They're going to win some games, obviously. Win their share of games. Obviously, you get Morris. They're going to be right in contention, I think, in the SEC. But if people think they're going to be a dominant team, it's just not that kind of Kentucky team.
Again, they've beaten Louisville. They've beaten West Virginia. But when they struggle badly. Rush from the elbow. Gets the bounce.
Getting any shot they want. Can't hang your head and pout and sulk. You got to come back and scrap and claw and fight. And play with some pride, representing that jersey that represents greatness when you look at the Kentucky uniform.
The Kansas fans on their feet again here at Allen Fieldhouse, loving what's happening here today.
I'd like to be in a locker room halftime with Tubby.
Crawford gets inside and drops in the floater.
He has scoring ability.
Yeah.
He has a chance, I said earlier, to really be a special wing player. I'm out of Renaissance High School in Detroit.
That snapped a 10-0 run for Kansas. Rush with 11 already in the first half, draws the foul on the floor, says Tom Eads. For more on Brandon Rush, back to Doris Burke.
Well, Rush, a guy who actually entered the 2005 NBA draft, pulled out in April when he realized he would not be in the first round. He is a guy who, when he first interviewed with the Lawrence media, he said, what am I going to bring to Kansas? I'm going to bring highlights. There were some concerns whether he would fit in. But according to Bill Self, he's been nothing but the perfect teammate, loves being a part of the Kansas family, and a guy who's very unselfish as a basketball player. In fact, according to Self, too unselfish.
Well, you know, last night we went to dinner with Lou Perkins, the fine AD, and he told us he's just absolutely been a great kid. Lou, by the way, played on the Iowa team,
That's
number
right.
4 in America, that played against Texas Western. Lou does a great job here, did a phenomenal job at Connecticut, at Maryland, Wichita State. I think he should be on the selection committee in basketball. I think he would be a perfect guy. He understands all the various conferences, and he understands basketball.
He has certainly paid his dues and seen the entire college basketball landscape. Rondo out to Crawford, missed the 3. The tap is good by Raquelin Sims, and now a steal for Rondo. Crawford comes down with it, right with a block shot. Kentucky making some things happen defensively, but couldn't come up with the deuce there.
I'm going to give him a little momentum instead of converting. Instead of get the conversion on the other end. 4-point swing.
Sasha Khan the basket. Who got the assist? Brandon Rush.
Brandon Rush really having a great afternoon. Charge right there offensively.
Yeah, Gerald Boudreau with a call. It'll go against Raquelin Sims. 2 officials disagreed, but Gerald Boudreau overruled Tom Eads.
You know, it's hard to believe, for me, knowing Kentucky basketball, that they have 12 points on the board with only 5 minutes to go at halftime. And I know Tubby's a brilliant coach, one of America's really premier coaches. He has to be frustrated. But it's been that way all year. It's been a struggle against teams that have been mediocre.
They are shooting 25% from the field, and they're 0 for 8 from three-point range as Orbjut clobbers Russell Robinson, who gets up quickly, and the officials intervene.
Officials do a great job. Tommy Eads and company and Gerald Bedreau come right over. Watch this now. Here's a hard foul. Almost could say flagrant there. And they do a great job stopping the action. That's frustration.
Yeah.
Frustration. You look at the board.
Robinson bounced right back up to his feet, and he'll shoot a couple of free throws.
You know, Kentucky happens to be this year in the SEC. When you look at the conference, there's some good teams. There'll always be good teams. The SEC always will be one of the top 5 conferences in America. But I think they will agree it's not dominant like it was in the previous years.
They were hurt more by early departures, I think, than any other conference in America last year.
Exactly, no doubt about it.
Couple of free throws for Robinson, a commanding lead for Kansas.
Well, you know, Florida, Tennessee, certainly very good basketball. Teams have been surprises. Arkansas getting better and better. LSU very dangerous. I mean, you just don't step on the floor and get an automatic W in the conference.
Julian Wright the foul. Kansas is over the limit, so Rondo will go to the line for 1-1. Not a great free throw shooter, Dick, and he's got the ability to get to the line a ton.
He has really improved a little bit in that area. He's worked hard. He's a complete guard. He really is.
Here's Darnell Jackson, yet another new face as Wright comes out. Jackson is a player who's suspended for the first 9 games for accepting benefits, and a big guy, about 6'9", 240 underneath, and a guy who can really help them in the rebounding department.
You know, you look at the Big 12 right now, Texas stands out. Certainly Oklahoma has a chance to be very good, even though they struggled the other day to put points on the board against SMU. But right now, I think Kansas can get right in that mix with all those clubs. I don't think there's any doubt about it. I think they have the kind of talent that's going to get better and better to young players, and they can be right up there again, challenging for the Big 12.
Keep in mind, their top 7 scorers are either freshmen or sophomores, but all of these freshmen are getting valuable experience. And this team, they've won 5 in a row, and granted, some were against lesser competition, but they're playing better right now than they did back in November, December.
You know, I don't want to mislead people. Kentucky's got some very good players. They just don't have the superstar first-rounders that they've had over the years.
Robinson forces up and drains a 3.
He's got a little bit more confidence at that point guard slot. I have never seen them play so passively. That's the part that really surprises me. They're usually very aggressive, very attacking.
Here comes Rondo. Slips inside. Everything but the finish.
I'm going to give him 5 if he made that one. I'm going to give him 5. That was like almost impossible.
Hawkins takes the bounce pass from Robinson, and now Kansas will reset. 4 minutes to go first half.
Do you think maybe psychologically you're thinking so much of Randolph Morris?
Rush with a step-back jumper. Right now they better start thinking about Brandon Rush.
They better start worrying about, I like that line, baby.
14 for Rush. Morris returns Tuesday. He can't help them today, and they need some help today.
I'll tell you one thing. There's a bounce in the step for the Jayhawks. Kentucky's been very flat.
Look at these tough shots.
Tough shots.
One-on-one, and now Bradley gets all tangled up with Hawkins, and Bradley did a little bit of acting there to try and draw a foul. Robinson scoops it up, and he'll draw the foul as 2 Wildcats collide and go down. The story today, though, dominance by Kansas, Dick, led by Brandon Rush.
It's been defense, and it's been Brandon Rush, and it's been moving the basketball. It's the Brandon Rush show, baby. Showtime for the Diaper Dandy.
Big fella, and hopefully Tuesday when they come back, things will get better.
You know, guys, this is what we expected from Kansas. Rapid progression throughout the season. A young team. Look at the defense. Only 14 points at this point allowed from the Kentucky Wildcats.
They're playing well at home, and of course, that's our theme this week. We'll talk about some of the great home court advantages coming up at the break as well, guys.
All right, Dave, Tom, Doug, thanks very much. This is one of the great home courts in America, much to the dismay of Donna Smith, head coach Tubby Smith's wife, and on
look at
Ashley Judd.
Ashley, she's exhausted.
She came a long way to see this game, and it has not gone well for her so far.
I saw Donna look at the stat sheet. She probably can't believe it. Think about what her husband must be thinking. Kentucky's won 20 or more games, 14 straight years. They've made the NCAA 14 straight years. You think about as I said earlier, all the great players that have played here. I mean, just recently, they had 9 NBA first-round picks in a 7-year span from 96 to 2002. Tayshaun Prince, McLaur, Paget, Muhammad, Mosley, Anderson, Dunk, Walker, McCarty. They got good players now, but a lot of people have the same kind of players they have.
Rondo with the ball. He is their best player, having to do a lot himself. Now a decent look for Crawford, but again, the threes aren't falling. Offensive rebound. Rondo, wild shot, and Kahn comes down with a rebound, and then Rondo compounds his mistake by committing a foul.
Rondo's really frustrated right now offensively. He's trying almost impossible shots on the inside. He really is frustrated. Bradley trying to fire up the guys. I have seen Kentucky so many times over the years, and the one thing I've always admired about them is the fact that they played with such passion, and I know that's what Tubby's about, and I don't see this club playing with the emotion and the passion of past Kentucky teams. You could be the least talented team in America, but that doesn't mean you don't come out and play with an unbelievable hunger.
Sasha Kahn at the line for Kansas. On this Kentucky team, they've had a couple of wake-up calls already this year.
They were able to survive. You know, they've survived against Central Florida, so you say, wow. They had a tough one with Iona. Jeff Woolen's done a heck of a good job down in that program.
The Ohio game was close for a long time. They are not talented enough to blow people out. Jared Carter has checked into the game now for the Cats, a 7'2" freshman out of Georgetown, Kentucky.
He's got a lot of potential. Once he gets stronger, he's going to be a major factor.
Bradley looking for him, finds him inside. Kahn on his back. Carter to the jump hook off the glass.
Nice little play by Carter on the inside. He's skilled. He just has to get himself a lot stronger physically.
And again, Morris returns Tuesday against Vanderbilt, but right now, Orbjut, Aline, Carter goes small. Tubby Smith looking for answers inside. Beautiful move by Rush, but it rims out on him. He's got 14 points and 7 rebounds already in this game.
Trust me, as Tom Brennan said, I really believe you're going to see a team rejuvenated with the arrival of Morris, and the Kentucky faithful responded positively on Tuesday night against Vanderbilt.
Carter draws the foul, so the freshman with 1 basket and then a good assertive move to draw a foul. Well, which college basketball team, in your opinion, has the best home court advantage? Log on to ESPN.com to vote for which arena you think is the best in America. A lot of great home courts are going to be shown in games on ESPN and ESPN2 this week, including Rupp Arena, the Breslin Center, Cameron, the Pit, Gallagher-Iba, and so on. We'll answer the poll Thursday night during the DePaul Pitt game. One home court advantage in America, the best is, Dickie V?
Oh, you want me to apply? Oh, come on now. Home court with the closeness, great players. Krzyzewski, it's got to be Cameron Indoor Stadium.
Rush had that shot altered, and then Kahn with a rebound and draws the foul because of how the students are hanging on top of you.
The students are right on top of you. Can you imagine the dollars they can make if they open those seats up and sold them to corporate groups? But they will not do it. The students are right on.
What about the fog?
Beware of the fog. Fog is certainly special. I mean, those are all great places. Rupp is a terrific place. It's majestic when you walk into Rupp.
Don't you feel like we've been transported back into the 50s every time you walk into this place?
Look at those Wackos. I love the spirit. That's why I love about Kentucky fans. Buddy of mine, Jerry Healy, who's Mr. McDonald's down there in Lexington. Big Kentucky, a great guy. Their fans have such a passion and love. It hurts so much when they don't see their Cats respond. And this Cats team is not responding like teams in the past.
So you look at a Kentucky team can win the SEC, go to the Sweet 16, and people say, boy, they had an off year. I mean, they're tough on their teams, too. The expectations are unbelievable.
They have such pride. That's why they're winning this program in college basketball.
I think my favorite Kentucky stat is they have won more SEC championships than all other SEC schools combined.
Talk about domination.
They're going to have to play better than this in the league, though, to win one this year because they are getting dominated here by Kansas.
They're going to be a better team than what we're seeing tonight. This is not, I really believe it's an aberration. They're not as bad as what we've seen.
3-second call against Kansas.
Well, what a performance. Let's also go to the other side and look at the performance of Kansas.
Yeah.
I mean, Tubby trying to signal, get his team into an offensive set. Kansas really has been fired up. They've won 5 in a row. wasn't against great competition. Had a good win over Cal, who beat UCLA and Southern Cal.
Beat Pepperdine as well. Their last win was against Yale. Not a great team, but they beat them by 41. And Bill Self thought they played very well. Now a foul underneath going against the Jayhawks. I think it's going to go on Darnell Jackson. And Bill Self didn't like that call very much.
Both guys have done great jobs in their careers at Tulsa. When you think, is look at the drive right here, using the post, spinning the inside, drawing contact. You know, Bill, you look at Self and you look at Tubby.
Yep.
Both really did great jobs at Tulsa. Nolan Richardson.
Bill Self went to the Elite Eight at Tulsa. Tubby Smith went to 2 Sweet 16s at Tulsa.
Steve Robinson did a great job down there as well.
Rondo has knocked down the first.
2001, he had Illinois in the Elite Eight, lost to Arizona. 2002, they were in the Sweet 16, lost to Kansas. Illinois, what Bruce Weber doing is amazing.
And again, Illinois coming up next right after us at Iowa. Won't be an easy game for the unbeaten Illini.
Well, D. Brown did a great job at Michigan State, 34 of 60 points.
In that win over Michigan State, 60-50 on Thursday. As Brandon Rush almost scoring as much as Kentucky's entire team. And now away from the ball, we've got a call, I believe, against Carter of Kentucky.
You know what you have to be careful now if you're Bill Self with a bunch of young kids? That they look at the scoreboard and they think it's over. You know and I know, we've seen college, but look at him up there at the board. He said, why can't we get out of here? Why can't it be the end of the game? Why do we got to play another half? Because you know Kentucky's going to come out and at least get a little spurt going somehow.
Yeah,
I got to believe that.
You would think Tubby Smith's going to peel some paint off the walls in that visiting locker room. Rush makes the first of 2. His career high is 20 points. He already has 15 here today. And again, Bill Self told us, he wants him to be a little bit more assertive. It's not in his nature. The talent is there to be a star.
Oh, he's got talent. There's no doubt about that. He can stroke the three. He can attack the basket. He can pass the basketball.
Boy, they are.
Everybody's standing around. Look at this right now. Everybody's standing and watching, and a guy pounding the ball in the deck. Everybody's standing. Everybody's standing. It's easy to guard people when there's no movement.
Hawkins commits the foul, so Crawford will go to the line.
You know, right now, Kentucky doesn't have an assist in the whole half. Doesn't have an assist in the whole half.
Because everybody, as you say, they're just pounding the ball into the deck and going one-on-one. And they haven't hit. They've gotten some open looks from 3, but they haven't knocked any of them down.
And trust me, that's not Tubby Smith basketball. I have great admiration and respect for what Tubby has done as a coach. Won the national title in '98. Last year lost that heartbreaker. They would have went to the Final Four to Michigan State.
Double overtime. Crawford 1 of 2. Rebound Bobby Perry. Well, Kansas has shown some very quick hands today. Robinson, Chalmers, Hawkins. Turnover, Kentucky.
No efficiency at all in the half-court game in terms of execution.
And now Rondo and Crawford barking at each other a little bit after that pass was thrown out of bounds.
Trying to get, you know, right now, when you see the scoreboard, it's a lot of frustration. Look at the disappointment. Just look at the body language. Look at Rondo's body language.
Well, we talked about the movie Glory Road, the story of Texas Western in '66. Let's take a brief look at one of the big moments in that film.
Miners lead it 64-61, just 2 minutes left.
All season long, when you had nothing left, you just come up with it. From your efforts, we're here.
We are 2 minutes away from a national championship. Right now, it's not about talent, it's about heart.
We're going to win this game, so go out there and make me a profit.
Now, they've been here before, so they're not going to give it to us. We got to go out there and we got to take it. Take it. I want you to go out there and take it. 1, 2, 3, take it.
Now, it's a great movie, a great story that I don't think a lot of young basketball fans, Dick, are as aware of as they need to be. This is an important story in the history of college basketball. The basketball action in the movie is terrific, too. And as we mentioned a little bit earlier, Texas Western to beat Joe White, Walter Wesley, and Kansas to get to the Final Four.
And Ted Owens is in the house. He coached that game. We talked about it.
Yep.
There was a call at the end of the game when it said,
Don't give too much away.
Oh, I can't give it away.
Don't give too much away.
All right. My buddy says I can't give it away.
Premieres all around the country tonight, and I believe the movie is out everywhere this coming Friday.
I would take your kids to go see it as well. It's a story that has to be told and should be told.
Shot clock turned off, final few seconds. Hawkins, Robinson, the high arcing 3 will not go. That's about all that went wrong, though, for Kansas in the first half. Tubby Smith cannot be happy. The worst half they have had this year. They're down 22 at the break to Kansas. Let's go to Doris Burke with Bill Self.
Bill, we saw you early in the year. What's the difference first game to now for your basketball team?
I think we're just older, and we're certainly guarding better, and guys seem to be playing with more confidence.
You asked Brandon Rush to be a little bit more assertive, a little more selfish. Assess his first half performance.
Well, the whole team's played well, but Brandon and Mario both got us off to a great start.
Good luck in the second half, Bill. Dan?
All right, Doris, thank you. Brandon Rush with 16 points and 7 rebounds in the first half. Time now for the UPS halftime report with Dave, Tom, and Doug.
41-19. Kentucky bottom 4 in the SEC in virtually every offensive category, and you're certainly seeing why as Kansas handing it to them in the first half in Lawrence. Dave Revson alongside Tom Brennan and Doug Gottlieb. Hear from these guys momentarily on the UPS halftime report. Do have some interesting NFL draft.
Now, their house has been a very good house here today. Allen Field House in Lawrence, Kansas. It has been all Kansas. The Wildcats did not heed the warning. They came here and entered the fog, and it's been a disaster for them since the moment this game began.
And they've been playing in the fog, Kentucky.
Yeah, right.
Absolutely in a fog in that first half. I have never seen Kentucky so really without any passion, any intensity and emotion. They have not done a good job offensively, no movement, and really zero in the post. I'll tell you, but you got to salute to Kansas.
Yes.
I thought Kansas was really efficient offensively, defensively, and Rush was sensational.
Some ugly offensive stats for the Cats. 21%, didn't make a three, turned it over. It was a nightmare from start to finish for Big Blue in the first half. For their adjustments in the second half, let's go to Doris.
The coaching staff feeling like shot selection was responsible for that field goal percentage, guys. What they'd like to do is rebound it a little bit better. It's only 26-20 on the glass, but they feel like if they could get some easy shots and build momentum slowly that way, it's a way to crawl back in this thing.
Well, you know what you have to do, Doris? You got to play this game in segments right now. So you got to break it down into like really a 5-minute segment and hope you get a little edge in that. Then the next 5 minutes and try to break it down that way.
Brandon Rush had a big first half, did 16 points, 7 rebounds. Russell Robinson chipped in with 10 in the first half.
Normally you say, well, you start shooting the three, but where are they going to get guys to knock the three down? If Sparks doesn't knock it down, really Rondo's more a driver than he is a three-point shooter.
Rondo the kick, Thomas the jumper, rattles out, offensive rebound, Crawford.
Well, that really is a good effort right there. And that's what you expect out of the Kentucky kids. A little full court pressure right now.
Dick, of the 21 points Kentucky has, 12 of them are second chance points. So they've been getting some offensive rebounds, although they've been out-rebounded overall. But generating offense in the half court from scratch has been virtually non-existent.
Well, really, when you're doing a job on the offensive boards and getting opportunities there, you're playing a little aggressive.
Good ball movement. Robinson misses the three, Sparks the rebound. Here come the Cats.
They got to get a three really quickly out of a guy like Sparks. He's got to bang one down. If they find him, they know he's a three-point shooter.
Crowder wanted to travel on Rondo.
Bill Self's had these kids prepared today, man. They know their assignments. Really playing with a little. What a difference from when you and I saw against St. Joe's.
Well, again, it's youth. They have 4 freshmen and 4 sophomores in their top 9. 8 of their top 9 freshmen are sophomores. Sparks misses the three. I mean, those are the kind of teams with this talent. They will get better over the course of the year.
Oh, they're definitely a team that's going to go on the upside.
I mean, remember, they lost Simeon and Miles and Langford and Michael Lee. They lost some great players.
You're talking about those guys.
Wow.
What a great lob.
Giles from Rush.
Great execution. Rush doing it, passing the ball, shooting the ball. Giles right down the gut of the defense. Slam dunk. We've seen opportunities for layups here against the Kentucky defense. There's the jam. Runs a little middle cut. Gets right in front of the defensive player.
Sheree Thomas the foul.
Normally you see Kentucky, they'll beat you to the basketball. Yep. They'll beat you to that. They won't allow you to make that inside cut.
Giles, a guy who's capable of some monster efforts. Then the next day will be very quiet. His last 4 games,
been quiet.
Subpar, minutes going down and down, but showing signs of coming out of it here today.
I talked to the columnist Tom Keegan from this area, and he said he's been quiet the last few games. But that was a nice little response right there.
That assist for Rush, his 3rd. He's having a great all-round game. Rondo will try a three, and Kentucky still ice cold from outside. Now a strip by Moody. Behind the back goes Rush.
Layup.
Moody at the other end.
Layup. They are beating him up and down the floor.
Little dipsy-do dunkaroo right there for Christian Moody, and
Tubby wants a
Smith
timeout. He's
needs a
furious.
timeout.
Tubby's furious. He knows right now they're being humiliated, being embarrassed. And that's too much pride in a Kentucky program to let people embarrass you.
They're beating them at both ends of the floor. Brandon Rushdick is doing whatever he wants to in this game.
Look at him trailing. Everybody's trailing. Nobody's getting down the court to stop the basketball.
It seems a lot of folks today here knew Dickie V was coming to town to do this game between the Jayhawks and the Wildcats. And at halftime, the Kansas Athletic Department Athletic Director Lou Perkins there with a big hug for Dick, acknowledging Dick and honoring him for contributions to the game of basketball. Presented you with a giant Jayhawk trophy, a beautiful thing, an honor well-deserved, my friend. And I know shortly the nominations come out for the Hall of Fame again. A couple of years ago you were nominated, and here's hoping it happens again this year.
Well, I'll tell you one thing. I was really touched by the Kansas people. I had no idea that Lou Perkins and his staff were going to do that, but certainly it's one of the great places to go, as is certainly Rupp Arena down in Kentucky, and I've been a blessed guy to be able to sit at courtside and witness some great games.
One of the best games I know, one of your favorite games that you've ever done perhaps, was on this floor a few years ago against Texas when Nick Collison had 24 points and 23 rebounds before fouling out right at the end of the game.
Oh, that was special. He really put on an incredible performance. The effort, the energy was unbelievable. Hey, I know one thing. The Hart family, Aaron Hart, they drove 12 hours from Corbin, Kentucky to get here. They're here. You better believe they are absolutely disappointed.
25-point lead for Kansas.
Wow, we thought we were going to have a real tough Mealox smasher today.
Sparks almost walked. Sims inside. Good defense by Moody. And then a foul. That ball got up on the rim just before the shot clock went off, or so the officials are saying. Bill Self is wondering, and I'm wondering too, if that shot by Sims ever got to the rim, because if it didn't, it should have been a shot clock violation, but evidently it did, and then Sims was fouled after that.
I thought it got to the rim. I really did.
Moody playing good, tough defense.
They got off.
Yeah, and it just grazed the rim. Sims, the lefty, knocks down the first.
Well, Sims had a big game in game one against Iowa. They lost that game, but he really played well. And then he's really struggled to try and find his shot. Made some threes in that game.
6'8" forward out of Salt Lake Community College, his first year in the Kentucky program.
Wow, did they miss Chuck Hayes?
Yeah.
Chuck Hayes had all the intangibles. He had winter across his chest. Tubby used to talk about that all the time. He was the one guy who had that leadership ability.
And again, Randolph Morris will be back Tuesday against Vanderbilt as Rush comes down the lane, flying down the lane, and Crawford commits the foul.
I can't believe how open guys get for layups.
Conference play gets going in earnest, and we've got a big Monday triple header for you. A very good, maybe surprisingly good Cincinnati team will take on second-ranked Connecticut. Texas taking on Iowa State, and then the late game Gonzaga, Santa Clara. Tuesday night, part of Super Tuesday, will be Kentucky and Vanderbilt as Randolph Morris returns for the Wildcats.
You know, it's really great now. Baylor's getting a chance to play Big 12 action. It's been really a situation where they were penalized and could not play pre-conference. I think that is absolutely ludicrous and absurd. To penalize innocent kids, innocent coaches, why not penalize the school and make them write out an incredible amount of money in a check rather than really punish Coach Drew and his kids? I really think that's totally unfair.
Kentucky now 0 for 12 from three-point range. Quick hands by the Jayhawks.
Layup. There it is. Oh, he dropped it. Had another layup.
Giles got it back. Slams it anyway.
It's like running fast break layup drills here. I have never, ever seen Kentucky in this kind of scenario.
I think it's one thing for Tubby Smith to see his team miss shots. It's another thing to see them not get back on defense. He prides himself on defense. 0 for 13 from three-point range.
And if he's not making threes, he really doesn't become a factor on the court. Take a look at that Brick City. Kansas not shooting much better, 20%. No. They're in my percentile.
But they're getting layups and dunks.
I tell you one thing, Doris Burke put the hurt on both of us yesterday.
Won a game of horse here, huh?
Yeah.
She showed some range.
She had great range. She had a better handle, too.
Right inside, Giles again.
It's layups. I have never, ever seen this embarrassing situation for Kentucky's pro. Well, remember, games I usually do, they're playing in great games, usually are really outstanding. This is embarrassing.
Remember, the last time Kentucky played here was 16 years ago. They lost by 55 points. They might not want to come back anymore.
But there's a big difference.
There's a caveat.
Pitino was in a building stage of a program and utilized that game as an embarrassing moment to motivate and get his teams going. And you saw what happened after that. I mean, 96, 7, and 8, they could have easily had 3 consecutive national titles.
This is not a great Kentucky team, but not a team that should be losing by 28. Kansas demolishing Kentucky here at Allen Fieldhouse at Lawrence. The first time, as we mentioned, Kentucky's played here in 16 years. Didn't go any better for the Wildcats last time. As Dick mentioned, Rick Pitino's first year, a young rebuilding team was playing some walk-ons, and they got it handed to them by the Jayhawks, 150 to 95. Terry Martin with 31 for Kansas. Rick Pitino livid, and Kentucky and Kansas, who have been playing every year, didn't play again until last year. For Kentucky, their worst loss under Tubby Smith, a 26-point defeat against Indiana last month. They are down 28 right now, Dick.
I'll tell you one thing, it's been a great performance by Kansas, and my heart goes out for the Kentucky fans. I'm going to tell you why. They care so much. I love people that have passion, and the Kentucky fans care so much about their basketball team and program. And right now, those watching have to be so totally frustrated. Feel bad for Tubby, too. I know how hard he works.
Yeah. Rondo turns the corner. Nice feed inside to Sims, and Sasha Khan is going to get called for the foul. That's one of the best offensive sets they've had all day.
Yeah, nice look right there by Rondo. David Hobbs does a terrific job as an assistant. Came out of Alabama. I thought, I'll be honest with you, shows what I know. I thought we were going to have a really special game in terms of both clubs searching for an identity and really going to play with a lot of emotion and intensity. Certainly Kansas has responded very emotional and really played with passion. Kentucky was, I thought, flat. I thought, what did I tell you yesterday in practice?
Yesterday, you said, boy, they're quiet and they're serious, and you just didn't feel there was enough energy on the team.
Exactly. I didn't feel that. And they used to get that from Chuck Hayes. Somebody's got to come alive and make that happen. I mean, Randolph Morris is basically a laid-back kind of kid, but he's a talent. And I certainly know Tubby and his kids. I'll tell you one thing, I feel sorry for one guy. Kevin Storage, Tuesday night. He's got to go to Rupp Arena. Yep. I'm going to tell you, that place is going to be electric. Yep. And these kids, I know what Tubby's going to do over the next 48 hours. They are going to be ready to play, at least emotionally, with some feeling.
Julian Wright the catch, the kick to Rush for 3, and his big day continues. He has just tied his career high with 20 points.
Great inside-outside action. Bring the ball inside and find the right shooter. And he certainly today has been the right shooter.
The Kansas passing has been great all day. Kentucky, and this is a mystifying stat, held ball and it's going to go the other way. Kansas, how about this stat? Kentucky still does not have an assist in this game.
Unbelievable. Unbelievable.
They have only made 7 buckets, none of them with assists. They're 0 for 13 from three-point range.
Violation, cannot run on a baseline when an official handles you the basketball.
Only after a made basket, so they turn it over to Kentucky.
And Tubby wants to get on a plane and get out of here. Doris had the great story. Share that story of Doris in that 150-point game about Tubby.
Doris telling the story about the 150 to 95. Tubby Smith at that point an assistant to Rick Pitino. He was out recruiting, landed in the early stages of the game, was driving from Kansas City to Lawrence, listening to the game on the radio. When he heard how ugly it was getting, he turned around and took the rental car back to the airport. Didn't even want to come.
I think he'd like to get to the airport right now. I think he'd like to get to the airport right this minute.
Robbie Moss with the 3, the first made 3 of the day for Kentucky.
They even have the Kansas crowd kind of quiet because it's a blowout.
Julian Wright, no, and the rebound for Robbie Moss. Wright, a multi-talented player to do a lot of things, is now The foul is committed by Robinson of Kansas on the block.
They're going to get another great player here next year from out of Chicago area, Sharon Collins.
What do you like about Julian Wright?
Well, you love his athleticism, the long arms, passes the ball well. Little limited in terms of offensively, but he's going to be a heck of a player here. Not, I don't believe, superstar, but it's going to be a very good player, a major contributor.
We have seen 3 of the 4 freshmen. The one we haven't seen is Micah Downs, a big-time shooter who's been struggling.
Big reputation.
Yeah, big reputation, and just not doing the things Bill Self wants him to do. So we have his minutes have virtually disappeared in the last few games. But given the way this one is going, he'll probably make an appearance before long.
Well, he's got to start to step it up and practice on an everyday basis and give him that effort, and he'll get playing time.
Rondo into traffic again. They surround him every time he's got the ball and tries to penetrate.
See, young kids have to learn when you make the transition after being a high school star. This is a different level, man. You got to come to practice and play hard every day.
Bradley misses the 3, but they run down the offensive rebound. Moss to Rondo for a deuce.
Nice play, a little combination. Moss and Rondo getting a little life right there. The bench standing up as a steal by. That's what he does so well.
And a hard foul committed by Hawkins, and Rondo slow to get up.
To me, that's intentional. I don't care. Any way you cut it, that's an intentional foul. That's almost should be 2 shots in the ball. Maybe not flagrant, but certainly intentional. That's a great steal with the long arms. Name my all Velcro team. I'm going to lay on you my all Velcro team once again.
Top 5 defensive players.
Oh, I love Lowry, man. He's special down at Villanova. I love in the middle of the landlord, the shot blocker, Mr. Sheldon Williams. I love Hassan Adams, averages almost 3 steals a game. Arizona, very quick. And I love the long arms and athleticism and the versatility defensively of Florida's Corey Brewer.
Well, watching Rondo here, you can see how disruptive he can be defensively. He rebounds the ball and plays defense as well as any point guard in America.
Yeah, he's got star ability. There's no doubt about it. Rondo is, can match up with many of the great guards in the country.
He's just a sophomore, and he's out of Louisville. And had a big game against Louisville in the Kentucky win, 25 points. Hawkins a miss. Rondo, another rebound, his 7th.
Probably would have been in a Louisville uniform if they inside and get a commitment out of Sebastian Telfair, who then changed his mind and went to the NBA.
Hey, we've got a chance to look in on one of the few remaining unbeatens in our next game today here on ESPN. As home court advantage continues. Illinois has got a tough one on their hands, taking on Iowa, and then over on ESPN2 at 3 o'clock Eastern, a very good North Carolina State team taking on a very young and talented North Carolina team, much like this Kansas group.
Well, I'll tell you what, that's a big game right there for Iowa. Coming off the loss to Wisconsin, they got to get back and get a big win. And what better way than beating a team that's unblemished? North Carolina State, to me, hasn't received as much publicity as they should.
Rush with another rebound at the defensive end on his way to a double-double, and now a foul on Kentucky underneath.
You know, Kansas wanted a kid badly that's playing for North Carolina, Tyler Hansbrough.
What a talent
he thought he would have been really something. They hated to lose him.
Illinois, Bill Self's old school, one of 6 remaining unbeaten teams. Illinois beat Michigan State by 10 on Thursday. D. Brown, a monster game, 34. Duke, Florida, Pittsburgh, Ohio State with a tough one today in Indiana. And Villanova won't have an easy time with West Virginia tomorrow as they try to stay undefeated.
I think the surprising story is Thad Matta being undefeated, Billy Donovan and Jamie Dixon. Pittsburgh, Florida, and Ohio State. Nobody could have projected at this time those 3 teams would be unblemished.
The rout continues. A 26-point lead for Kansas. Brandon Rush has just set a new season and career high. Now a block on Hahn.
You know, you mentioned Duke being undefeated. They go to Wake Forest tomorrow, and Wake Forest has beaten them 3 years in a row on that floor. J.J. Redick and Sheldon Williams.
Dick, breakout day for Brandon Rush.
There's the drive, finds the gap in the defense, lays it on the glass.
You know, I know you talk about how the mid-range game is a lost art. We saw it from Adam Morrison. He's got it too, right?
Yeah, he has the mid-range game, no doubt about it.
Look at that, double-double.
Patrick Sparks, I thought he was going to be a much better player this season. I really did. I thought you'd get at least 12, 14 a game from Sparks, but he's had such a tough time getting free for a shot.
He has not scored a point today. Ramel Bradley has not scored a point today. Robinson the miss, rebound Perry. Bradley in transition. Wide open Ravi Moss. And another rebound for Wright. Another missed 3 for Kentucky. Another run out for the Jayhawks.
Nobody getting back. Nobody stopping the ball. The first rule in defensive transition, find the basketball and stop it.
Bradley, a tough shot, had it altered by Wright. Kansas ball again. This one cannot end soon enough for Tubby Smith, although Sparks comes up with a steal. And it's blocked by Robinson.
Robinson with a terrific play. New York City, right side score. Oh, he said, Mr. Sparks, there'll be no spark there, baby. There'll be no spark there. Mr. Robinson with a lot of guts. Wow.
He just committed a foul after that, and you know what? Nobody in the building cares a bit. What a block by Russell Robinson. Kansas dominating Kentucky.
Dave Revson in our Sports Center in-game studios. Florida trying to get to 14-0, pulling away from Georgia off the block by Corey Brewer. Joakim Noah finishes on the other end with the jam. Gators on top by 13 at that point. And other scores, Maryland first true road game of the year. Not going so well, down by 11 to Miami. Andy Kennedy at Cincinnati playing really well, guys. On top of Marquette in Milwaukee by 1. Dan and Dick.
All right, Dave, thank you. Remember Cincinnati at Connecticut, part of Big Monday at 7 Eastern on ESPN. Florida, one of the remaining unbeatens. Very timely for Corey Brewer to come up with a block there. The Gators, despite what they've lost, a great team this year, ranked in the top 10. Take a look at this, Dick. Patrick Sparks, and they're coming across as Jeff Hawkins of Kansas right into our cameraman, Chris Klinsman, under the basket. He got smoked.
Wow, Chris took the charge. Look, he's all right. He's ready to roll.
He stood
look
his
at him
ground.
right there. He sees the same barber you and I do. Wow, look at that. He sees the same barber we do. Chrissy, baby. He's always working.
Right under the basket. Got the best seat in the house.
Holmes. Hey, all the D's went out last night to see the movie. Doris, Dick, Dan, and Dan, our boss, and Doug.
All 5.
All D's. I was a D in school.
Bradley at the line for Kentucky. His first point of the day.
He's from IMG Academy down there in Sarasota.
Your neck of the woods, huh?
Yes, sir.
He's a guy along with Crawford who can score. They should have enough perimeter scoring, and maybe the perimeter guys will get more opportunities once Morris comes back and the inside game gets going.
My gut feeling is we'll see some changes in the lineup. I would not doubt if you'll see the athleticism of Bradley and Rondo playing together with Morris on the interior. And I think, you know, I feel like I said, Mr. Stallings and Vanderbilt, they're going to get Kentucky's biggest hit on Tuesday night.
Kentucky trying to step up the pressure a little bit now. Look at the field goal percentage. 21% on the day for the Cats. 1 for 16 from three-point range. Rush has had a monster day. Great hands again by Rondo, but he can't save it. But boy, he is everywhere at the defensive end.
Yeah, he really is. The one thing about him right now, Rajon is playing hard. Despite the scoreboard, he's out there playing hard, playing aggressively. He's got big, big hands. Look at the size of those hands.
I saw him in the first half palming the ball. He palms it like it's a softball, not a basketball.
That's been a big problem. Dale Brown, I remember one time showing me with Shaquille O'Neal shooting free throws, and that could be a dilemma with him.
But he's a very talented player. It all starts with Rondo for Kentucky. Hawkins from the corner. Now the Cats with a chance to run. It's Rondo on the break and blocked from behind by Jeff Hawkins.
You know, it's really impressive right now. What's impressive is the fact that Kansas still playing hard despite leading by such big numbers.
You know, Jeff Hawkins is a guy, Dick. Hawkins backed up Aaron Miles the last few years, didn't play a whole lot, wasn't 100% sure he wanted to play basketball. And Bill Self said to him, listen, you're the senior. Everybody else sophomores and freshmen. We need you this year. And he's become a major contributor.
You know, Miles just got cut about 2 days ago by Golden State. Kentucky picking it up a little bit.
Sheree Thomas with a 10-footer.
At least you like to see this right now. Responding a little bit, playing a little better offensively. But Langford, Simeon, and certainly Miles, what a career they have.
Darnell Jackson underneath gets on the board, and the lead is 26.
You know, shooting the basketball, you can understand, having bad nights. But really what surprised me, a trademark in Kentucky has always been its staple defensively. We have seen Kansas get numerous layups.
And a few too many dunks for Tubby Smith's liking as well. Just beat him down the floor in transition a few times. Rondo, a tough shot, altered by Wright. Wright the rebound.
That's what Julian Wright does. Look at him run the court. He's the trail man. They had him wide open for a layup.
With patience here, no reason not to. Under 10 minutes to go and a big lead for the Jayhawks.
I don't think they ever anticipated being up this margin.
Can't do anything wrong. A long deuce for Julian Wright.
Just stepped over that line. Came in with a big reputation out of high school. I mean, this club has restructured itself after losing all those kids, Langford, Simeon, and Miles.
And they were beaten badly by Arizona out in Maui earlier this year. Lost a close game to Arkansas, a close game to St. Joe's, a close game to Nevada, but they're now looking at a 6-game winning streak after today. Chalmers, followed by Wright.
It's just beating him on the glass, out hustling up. Look how slow many of the Kentucky kids are going up the floor.
Tubby Smith walking down his bench to the far end, near where some of the seldom used players are. He can hardly watch.
He wants to walk out of that tunnel and out of here. He's got too much pride.
Has a chance to be the most lopsided loss Tubby Smith has had at Kentucky.
They were beaten badly by Indiana, but even in the Indiana game, it was only 12 points difference, and they're not going to the last 4 minutes.
Boy, Rush is having an outstanding game. 24 points, 11 rebounds, 4 assists.
Passed the ball really well, taking good shots. I don't remember a bad shot out of the kid.
Chalmers. Jackson rips the rebound away.
That's true. That's strictly out hustling the clock. That's really just out hustling.
Julian Wright, 2 more. He's taking over now.
Just dominate. Tubby wants to get out of here. He said, this is not my team. This is not Kentucky.
Timeout.
This is not Kentucky. Give me a timeout.
Just an absolute rout here at Kansas today, up 32 on Kentucky. The latest Jayhawk to get it going, Julian Wright. And for more on him, back to Doris.
Well, Dan, once Bill Self made the decision to play Julian primarily at the 4, he could go 3 and 4. He went to Danny Manning and asked that Danny give some tips to Julian Wright. His advantage at the 4 spot, obviously on this side of the floor, guys, his ability to step out at that size, drain those kinds of shots, take people off the bounce, use his dribble, and then go attack when he's close, use that athleticism. It's on the defensive side where maybe he could be a liability at the 4 spot. Why? That lean frame. So what Danny Manning told him is, listen, the most important thing you can do on a daily basis right now is get into the weight room. You need to be stronger to defend on the post, and that's not a bad teacher to have in your back pocket, guys.
I'll tell you one thing, Doris. Danny Manning yesterday looked impressive in the workouts. We watched him play the post position when we were attacking the zone. Can he pass the ball? In fact, his performance with Kansas when he scored 31 out of 18 in a championship game and literally carried them on their back to the national title was, to me, very comparable to Vince Young and what he did with Texas in football.
Sims misses the 3. Danny and the Miracles. Danny Manning carried that team. There were some other good players on it, but boy, what an outstanding tournament he had. The floater by Crawford, and it's a 30-point game.
He's got scoring ability. Crawford out of Detroit. Hey, you talk about Danny Manning. They were 12 and 8, and were probably thinking NIT. Larry Brown coached that club.
National championship back in '88, one of 2 NCAA national championships. They also had 2 earlier titles back in the 1920s.
Dean Smith played here.
Yep, in the early 50s. Will Chamberlain, of course, in the mid to late 50s. Rondo wide open for a 3, passed it up. Now a deep 3 by Robbie Moss.
Wow, Moss stepping up, gets a 3. Now you're trading.
Moss has both 3s that Kentucky has today. Moody was all alone under the bucket.
Offensive foul.
Jackson with a charge.
Hey, I'll tell you, team getting better when you look at the SEC is Tennessee.
In the country, these are the oldest home courts still in use in Division I basketball.
The pleasure is certainly special. I'd love to go there to do a game one time. You and I got some great games coming up. I have, first of all, Wednesday night, Maryland right now down to Miami. It'll be an angry team going to Duke to play the Dukies on Wednesday night.
You and I have Connecticut, Syracuse coming up a week from Monday.
Wow.
And then Illinois, Indiana, a week from Tuesday. Remember, Illinois is at Iowa next here on ESPN. The tip coming in about 20 minutes, about 10 after 2 Eastern time. Illinois, one of the 6 remaining unbeatens in college basketball.
Yeah, he has done a great job. And you lose the likes of Powell, Head, and certainly Williams, Bruce Weber.
The Kansas women's team, by the way, is unbeaten, and they're at Nebraska tonight.
Right.
Russell Robinson, the floater. He's had a nice game.
Yeah, he really has. He's played within himself. He's played the point guard spot, looked for other people. He's defended really well.
A dozen now for Robinson. Brandon Rush is the BMOC here today, though. 24 points, 11 rebounds.
I think kids are starting to get their roles now. When you look at Kansas, a lot of them wondering where do I fit in? What's my role? I think by now they're starting to understand where they fit in rotation.
Thomas's long shot is off. Good position by Bradley, Kentucky ball. Well, one thing Bill Self did is he said to Russell Robinson, you're my point guard. And he said to Jeff Hawkins and to Mario Chalmers, I'm moving you off the ball, free you up a little bit. Robinson has responded with a great assist to turnover ratio. Chalmers and Hawkins have both played much freer, and their scoring averages have gone.
I think it also helped them good scheduling. They had the chance to get some confidence, play some people they can beat. Their Sims with the 3, something they need in their offensive arsenal. They got to get some guys making threes. I don't even mean here today, because today is long gone. I'm talking down the road.
This one was long gone early here today.
Yes, sir.
Kentucky had 8 points about 13 minutes into the game. So a hesitation move by Rush. The pass eludes Moody. And Rondo comes up with a loose ball.
Now you're playing for a little respectability. Something they don't play for at Kentucky. They don't play for moral victories.
Sims feeling it, misses this 3, and another rebound for Rush, his 12th.
He's multi-dimensional. He really is one of the impact type of dandies in the country. I think by the end of the year, he'll be right up there when you pick the top 5 freshmen. You know, preseason's one thing. Postseason's when it counts.
Nice little move by Robinson to free himself with a shot. Moody comes up with a loose ball and a fresh 35 for the Jayhawks.
His brother's on the JV team down in North Carolina.
Right.
Very proud to play. One of the few schools that has a JV team.
You know, Bill Self reminded us before the game of every player he's got on the roster. The player with the most career points coming into today, Christian Moody, the former walk-on. About 250 points.
Right.
He's a senior, but that shows you how young this team is. Hey, don't forget a triple header coming your way on Monday. It begins in Connecticut. Number 2 UConn playing a good Cincinnati team. Texas up at Iowa State. Always a tough place to play. And then the third game at midnight Eastern. Number 9 Gonzaga, led by Player of the Year candidate Adam Morrison, taking on Santa Clara.
Well, you know, Morrison certainly going to be in the hunt for that National Player of the Year. J.J. Redick as well. As you take a look right here, the Zag superstar. They got to get Earl Knight going now again. We saw him against Memphis. Memphis had that loss to Texas. Texas back, rebounded, went through a little bit of a lull.
Teams are still searching for themselves right now, but it's coming into focus for a lot of coaches as we move into conference play. It'll be an interesting couple of days in Lexington, that's for sure. Bobby Perry jump hook short. Giles the rebound. Whoa, look out. That elbow swung. Knocked his man down. Stephen Vincent wide open, but he'll use the clock. Won't force up a shot.
Trying to take some time off the clock. They realize they're in total command. You know, I'm really excited about the possibility for Kentucky when they get Randolph Morris. I respect the heck out of Mike Pratt, former player, does the radio work for them with Tom Leach. He told me both guys, great guys, really understand basketball. He told me he has seen him in practice, and Mike Pratt knows basketball, and he said he is going to be a difference maker.
Well, they need a difference maker given the way they have played today. Kentucky ball with a weak comeback, 26-point lead for Kansas.
Now, D. Brown and Illinois trying to keep that unbeaten run going. Brown coming off the career-high 34-point outburst against Michigan State. Illini at Carver Hawkeye next. Big Ten game and potential upset brewing in Ann Arbor. Michigan, though, up 2 right now against a Purdue team that has really been struggling, very banged up. How about Cincinnati on the road, up 3 against Marquette? 8 blocks to this point for Eric Hicks. Dan and Dick.
I'll tell you one thing, guys, that would be a disastrous loss for Michigan at home to Purdue, who's really struggled big time. I mean, that would be a tough loss for Tommy Amick in that program.
Moody with a steal. That would be a big win for Cincinnati heading into their game against Connecticut on Monday. And looking forward to that Illinois game coming up next to watch D. Brown, one of the best guards in America, coming off a great performance against Michigan State.
Well, he was my preseason. You go to my website, he was on my preseason top 5 in America.
Yep.
But, you know, he started off a little slowly, but heating up at the right time. Player of the year in the Big Ten.
You look at the point guard spot, Dick, and some people love D. Brown, some love Rondo. Coming into the year, a lot of people talked about Daniel Gibson. You love Jordan Farmar, Darius Washington, a lot of great point guards out there.
Really, in college basketball to win big, you better be strong at that point guard slot. Certainly D. Brown gives him a winner. He's also good on the defensive side, has the ultra speed.
Boy, with what they've lost, the way they've played, Bruce Weber deserves a ton of credit. Those players, Randall and McBride, Jamar Smith, the freshman, a lot of guys have really stepped up for them.
Nice tandem, Bill. You got Brown and Augustine building.
Under 3 minutes to go. Remember, Tubby Smith's most lopsided loss as Kentucky head coach, 26 against Indiana last month, and it's 26 right now. It's 28 right now.
I tell you, he's got 4 signees coming in. Derek Jasper, Jody Meeks, Perry Stevenson, and Michael Porter. All those guys will get some playing time.
Mario Chalmers with that last layup. He's had a nice game. Warren Carter had a couple of nice moves inside in the first half. That time got stood up by Giles. Loose ball to Moody. Good job by Giles not to bite on any of those fakes.
Can't ever forget the job Roy Williams did with this program. He was absolutely phenomenal here. Averaged about 28 wins a year. He has the best recruiting class coming in America next year in North Carolina.
Bill Self getting ready to empty the bench, Dick. Sorry, go ahead.
Brandon Wright, Wayne Ellington, Tyron Lawson. Ohio State right there with Greg Oden. Wow, we're going to be Ohio State next year, guaranteed.
Vincent for 3. Crowd wanted that. Moody tries to save but can't. And now Bill Self will take the regulars out.
And yes, they deserve a hand. There's a little standing O for the kids going out.
Robinson, Giles, and company sit down. Micah Downs into the game. Jeremy Case, Roderick Stewart, a transfer from USC. Matt Kleinman as well. A huge day for Brandon Rush, the best of his young collegiate career.
Yeah, and really in a high moment, they needed a statement win. They needed a win over a program to get a swagger, to get that really, feeling good about yourself. And now they got to head to Colorado. Not drawing fans up there. Nobody's coming out. I feel so bad for Ricardo Patton. 10-1. Richard Roby and them deserve more people coming out watching it.
Warren Carter follows the miss, and it's a 26-point lead.
He's going to be a good player.
Yes, he is. He's got some skill.
He listens to that coaching staff, listens to all those guys, Tubby and David Hobbs and Hanson. He is going to be a good player. He's going to fill out, get there with the conditioning coach, the weight coach.
Micah Downs for 3. That's what he brings to the program.
He'll get some playing time. He can do that. That's his big-time reputation.
Out of Seattle, a McDonald's All-American.
Bob Gibbons, I respect dearly. He rates Carolina, Ohio State, Texas, Connecticut, Washington, Oklahoma, Louisville, and Duke as the top 8 recruiting classes in the country.
Bobby Perry a little bit long. Carter the tip. And the loose ball is run down by Preston LeMaster, getting some time here at the end of the game for a dejected Tubby Smith. It has been an ugly afternoon for Kentucky. Foul from behind by Kleinman.
It's been that way from the outset, right out of the gate. The only pleasant thing that's happened for Kentucky thus far today was Donna Smith coming over and giving me a kiss and a hug. That was really beautiful. And the arrival of Ashley Judd.
Who's still here.
She's still here.
She didn't leave early just because her team is down.
She's a loyal fan, man. She's a loyal fan. Sorry, Ashley.
She takes it all in stride, though.
She's absolutely a super lady, and so is Donna. Donna does so much in Tubby for charities in that area, really active in the community. Best description I give of Mr. Tubby Smith, so reminiscent his personality and way and his leadership skills of Tony Dungy.
Yeah, a class guy.
Class guy all around.
Stockton with a layup, and now Kansas will run out the final few seconds if no other points are scored. This will be the most lopsided loss for Tubby in his Kentucky career. Kansas all over the Wildcats from the outset today. A signature win for the Kansas program, beating Kentucky 73-46.
Well, 16 years ago got blown out here. 16 years later, the same result. Kentucky just dominated.
Coming up next, the test for the unbeatens continues with 15-0 Illinois taking on Iowa. This has been a presentation of ESPN, the worldwide leader in sports. For Dick and Doris, I'm Dan Shulman. Thanks for watching as we send it back to Dave Revson in the studio.
Thank you, Dan. Adam Haluska, the Hawkeyes, 10.
Norwich, double fake, and Bookout staying right with him. Now Walker. Marcus Walker with a miss, and there's going to be a push underneath on Alex Morich. His first. There's the drive by Terrell Everett. 1-point lead to Oklahoma. We'll be back.
You probably only need one good reason to talk to Shelter. Insurance for your car, home, business, boat, farm, or life. But we can give you more than 1,300 reasons to talk to us. They're the same reasons why so many of our customers are so satisfied with their policies. Shelter agents. When we started in 1946, our agents all agreed on one thing. The only kind of service that counts is the personal kind. There's no better way to do business.
The finest leather boots are at Big Phil's Boots.
Cooper Tire is proud to be the official tire of the Big 12 Conference. Cooper Tires, don't give up a thing.
¿Por qué tan contento?
Ya regresó el McRib.
Leave the nice shirts at home, because McRib is back at McDonald's. Juicy pork, onions, pickles, sauce, and more sauce.
Eso.
From Studio 66 in 1989, Kentucky lost in Lawrence by 55 points today. Their first game there in 16 years. Tubby's worst loss, 27 points. Fred Reed, KU heads to Colorado Wednesday with a head of steam.
Wow, what a big win. You know, there's been a lot of talk about bad losses in the Big 12 in the non-conference part, but there's been some very good wins. Yeah, Texas beating Memphis, and a great win, Nebraska over Marquette, and that got even bigger when Marquette makes their Big East debut Tuesday night and just hammers number 2 ranked UConn. But certainly Kansas absolutely crushing Kentucky is a very, very good win for the Big 12.
Well, Texas over Memphis recently, you know, the conference season starting, the teams you'd expect to be playing well are playing well right now. Good pass and lane knocked away, taken by the Huskers. Marcus Walker. Perry. Look down low to Morich and couldn't get him.
Don't accidentally get in between Alex Morich and Kevin Bookout. You get squashed.
Morich at the top of the circle looking for help. Now McCray, 17 to shoot it. Bookout shut down McCray outside. Boy, such defense by Oklahoma right now. Marcus Walker put it on the floor. They got 7 to shoot. Morich at the top of the circle, double team. Long try off the heel of the rim. And taken away. Good defense by Oklahoma.
Yeah, and a great box out by Nate Carter.
Down low, Taj Gray. Had defense down there by Morich and Wilkinson. And the ball comes back to the Huskers. Oklahoma by 1.
Good pass.
Marich with the left hand, shot it over the rim. Wilkinson right there, no. Marich again had the ball stripped away. Here comes Oklahoma.
You won't see 2 shots from any closer missed any worse than those 2 shots by Marich and Wilkinson.
And now a timeout called by Oklahoma off the miss shot. 17-16, Oklahoma by 1 with 9:28 left in our first half. And this PN Plus game is brought to you by Whataburger, just like you like it. Reed Geddes picks those up all over the state of Texas.
In fact, I was just thinking about picking one up in the state of Nebraska on my way to the airport.
I know. Good burgers. Shooting has been a little bit better, I think, than we had predicted coming in, although Nebraska just missed those 2 point-blank shots that really hurt them. But Oklahoma at 50%, Nebraska missing those 2 falls to 6 and 17. Both these teams have had problems shooting the basketball.
Yeah, and for a bad combination, Oklahoma has had difficulty defending the basketball, which is extremely uncharacteristic of a Kelvin Sampson basketball team. They come into this game last in the Big 12 in field goal percentage defense and 3-point field goal percentage defense. And well, those are not numbers that will sit well with that man right there. Kelvin Sampson will not tolerate a lack of effort, and quite frankly, he questioned his team's effort in their last win over SMU that they squeaked by 50-47.
Kelvin Sampson simply runs the most enthusiastic practices you will ever see.
Program, I mean, warm-ups, I bet they have curfew call, and they're excited and clapping and cheering.
Now a foul down low. The shot went up by Longar, and he was immediately fouled by Alex Marich, his first foul.
Well, I think that's a good adjustment by Nebraska. That's the first time we've seen a 2-3 zone. But boy, if you're going to run a 2-3 zone against Oklahoma, you cannot allow one of those big guys to slip behind you down there on the baseline.
Longar, a sophomore, grew up in Sudan and Egypt, and has tied Reed Geddes for the most languages fluent in with 5. How you doing?
Which 5 is it you think I know? I'm struggling with my major one.
He has 10 siblings, speaks 5 languages, moved to the U.S. at 14, finished high school in Minnesota.
Well, his shot looks so much better than it did last season. Well, obviously, that Oklahoma staff spent a long summer working with Longar on his release.
So I'm in the hotel lobby this morning working on the computer at their business center with a teammate with Taylor Griffin. They were just smiling and they'll probably play the game. It'll look good. Now Joe McCray takes it out of bounds. Did he get the timeout? He did. Got a timeout to stop the clock before he stepped out of bounds with it. 18-16, Oklahoma leading Nebraska by 2. Things have kind of slowed down a little bit here right now.
Well, the story in the first half for Nebraska has been their 3-point shooting. They have done a terrific job, 3 for 8, and Joe McCray got them started early, and he's hit a couple of them, and good ball movement. And really, that's what got Nebraska going. They were struggling early on. And, you know, it's interesting. Joe McCray has been over there on the bench for a while for Barry Collier. And I think maybe off the record, a lot of people with the Nebraska program will tell you that Joe McCray came in this season not in the best shape. They say perhaps he was 20 pounds overweight, and they would say he's still maybe a little bit heavier than he should be. And, you know, there's really, not to be overly harsh on a kid, but those kind of numbers, 11 and 5, is not what they expected from Joe McCray. Averaged 15 last season, and they expected that to be more like 20 and 8. And he'll get there, but there's just no excuse in this day and age with all of the facilities available to you and the resources to come in 20 pounds overweight.
That's B.J. Walker. Now Redstone outside. Didn't get it. Look at Bookout. Battle down low, and he came away with the basketball. He is just a load around the basket. Little ball fake. Now Bookout stepped into traffic, missed the shot. Little jump hook kind of a thing. And back comes Nebraska with a chance to tie it, maybe take the lead. Jamel White missed the shot, and B.J. Walker underneath with the rebound. His first 2 points were tied.
Good hands by B.J. Walker. That pass was thrown way too hard, hit him in the chest, and in all that traffic, he was able to come up with the ball.
Russ Wilkinson, leading shooter, three-point shooter for Nebraska, out on the floor right now. Alex Marich got in the air and committed a foul down underneath. He took the fake at the baseline that time from Marcus Walker.
See that ball just hit B.J. Walker and bobbled around and came up with the ball. That's a good, strong move. You know, B.J. Walker, 6'9", about 250 pounds. Gives Barry Collier a big, strong, thick, wide body that he has not had in the last several years.
That was Nate Carter with the fake and drawing the foul underneath. March, second foul. Now Nate Carter knocks the free throw down for his first point. A 6'6" junior from San Diego, transferred from Cal Riverside.
He was the Big West Conference Freshman of the Year at UC Riverside. Had a terrific season his sophomore season at UC Riverside, and then just decided perhaps he wasn't playing at the level that he should be, and made a good decision. Transferred, sat out last year, practiced with Oklahoma, and big, strong, thick-bodied kid, and extremely competitive.
Nice-looking left-handed stroke, a 78% free throw shooter. Just got them both and put the Sooners back up by 2. B.J. Walker had a block by Longar, who was second man down, but there was a foul on the floor before he started his move. The foul against Oklahoma. Timeout here, Sooners by 2, and we're back after this from your friends at Phillips 66.
Sometimes you just can't miss. Enter the Phillips 66 Big 12 free throw giveaway for a chance to shoot 4 free throws for $66,000. With your shot, this is easy money. Head to a participating Phillips 66 for details.
7-Up Plus with calcium. With a burst of real fruit juice, 10% of your daily calcium, and only 10 calories per serving. It's one thing strong women everywhere can't get enough of.
Manager to the front.
7-Up Plus. For great taste with calcium, the only way to go is up.
They fire the coals with precision, mixing sauces, marinades, and rubs in secrecy. They are barbecue fanatics in search of perfect taste. But perhaps starting with better pork is the real secret. Cargill worked with customers to create more marbled cuts of pork. With special feeds and selection techniques, we achieved the tenderness people craved and a taste as classic as those who cook it. This is how Cargill works with customers.
You know that feeling you get when you could have ordered your burger with extra onions, grilled jalapenos, and 3 slices of cheese? But you didn't, and your buddy did? That's what we call getting out Whataburgered.
What a burger!
Just like you like it.
Oklahoma leading Nebraska 28-18 in the early going here in Lincoln. And Phillips 66 is proud to be the presenting sponsor of Big 12 basketball. Next time you're on empty, fill up with Conoco and Phillips 66 quality propane gasolines recognized as top tier. They help clean your engine as you drive. And remember, life happens between empty and full. The Huskers have suddenly gone cold. They have missed their last 5 shots. Oklahoma has gone back in front by 2, but 4's been the biggest lead in this game. It's been a tight ball game so far. McCray with a turnaround fadeaway jumper won't go. B.J. Walker had it for a moment, taken away by Oklahoma. Austin Johnson way outside with it, working against Marcus Perry. Taj Gray, Godbold, down low, Nate Carter. Carter with a shoulder and a charge.
Good defense defense. Joe McCray really baited Nate Carter into that. He bumped him early on in that defensive possession, and Nate Carter lowers his shoulder. See, Joe McCray bumps him once and baits him into lowering his shoulder, and that's a good call.
Foul on Nate Carter, his first. Oklahoma with their fourth team foul. Nebraska's a whistle for 4. Jamel White. Jay Walker, now Joe McCray, David Godbold with him. White defended by Terrell Everett. Lookout has DJ Walker down in the lane. White with the drive, had to pull him back out. They have 10 to shoot. And White looking for help. Intercepted by Lookout. Get ready for Thunder. Woo! Kevin Lookout with his 8th point.
Now that is just a bad pass from Jamel White, and Barry Collier will not be pleased with that kind of execution from his freshman. Yeah, immediately he goes to the bench for Charles Richardson.
Oklahoma on a 10-2 run, leading by 4 points, their biggest lead of the game so far. McCray with a backhanded bounce pass to Walker in the lane. And a pushing foul on Oklahoma. How about the steal Kevin Lookout makes?
Yeah, the most dangerous pass in all of basketball is a bounce pass that goes parallel to the free throw line. You are just begging for somebody to run through that pass.
And somebody named Kevin Lookout just did. Lookout, the senior from Tiny Stroud, Oklahoma. The leading field goal percentage shooter in history at Oklahoma.
Boy,
57% for his career.
Yeah, just recently passed Wayman Tisdale. When you start flirting with Wayman Tisdale numbers, yeah, that's pretty serious.
Can you play guitar?
Yeah.
Richardson.
Good defense by David Godbold on McCray.
Now Marcus Perry got down low in the lane. The shot off the glass and good. Marcus Perry, the 6'2 junior, with his 4th point.
Good first half.
Has been.
Good first half.
Godbold looking for help.
Good defense.
Deflected down in there by Wes Wilkinson in a scramble for the ball. Richardson has it for the Huskers. Here they come, 3-on-3 to the wing, and no shot there for Marcus Perry. Now Richardson taken away in the lane by Nate Carter. He might have walked with it, but he got by with it.
Yeah, Rick Hartzell came down the court juggling, saying he did not have control of that ball. What a pass!
Great work.
Terrell Everett, and heads-up play by Taj Gray, diving down the middle of the floor to bail his point guard out.
4 points now for Taj Gray. A couple of rebounds to go with him. The preseason player of the year in the Big 12 Conference. Senior out of Wichita East High School. Long try from the corner, won't go. And the deflection off the hands of Kyle Marks of Nebraska.
Oh, I don't know. David Hall's down there saying that it's Nebraska's ball. He might call a foul, but that ball clearly should be Oklahoma's basketball. Boy, it's getting physical, isn't it?
It is. Kelvin Sampson all the way down in the corner questioning the call.
We see there's nobody anywhere around. That ball was clearly off of Kyle Marks, and I'm not so sure that...
David Hall's a terrific official.
Well,
he was right there. He saw something.
What he said to Kelvin Sampson, you want me to call a foul on Lookout? No, that'd be Nebraska's ball.
You know, you just said something. For all his physicalness, if that's a word, Lookout's been called for 23 fouls all year.
Really?
Yeah, 23.
That's surprising.
Let's see what we got here.
Take a look, and there's Lookout, and see, he shoves him out of bounds. I guarantee you that's exactly what David Hall did, is he thought I should have called that foul, and I didn't call it, so I'm going to go ahead and give Nebraska the ball.
Well, when somebody 6'8", 273 shoves you, you're going to move. And Kevin Lookout probably should have been called for his first foul. But how about 23 fouls on the season when you play as strongly as he plays, and that's a tribute to his intelligence.
Yeah, it is. He just has become such a rock-solid foundation for Kelvin Sampson and what he's done the last 4 years. You know, funny thing, they had Mike Houck, the terrific sports information director for Oklahoma, had a great feature in their notes where he polled the players on the team, asking them different questions, and their votes were all over the place except for the category of worst dressed. Kevin Lookout, unanimous. No one else even got votes. I thought, you know, there's Mike Houck. I'm thinking, you know, that's not right. You can't have unanimous worst dress. That's a great feature Mike Houck's included this season.
Bob Berry in the gray sweater right next to him, veteran play-by-play announcer for the Sooners, a legend in Oklahoma. What a guy. Sooner or later, that ball is going to come in bounds, and we're going to resume this game, and now it does to DeRusso out on the wing against Terrell Everett. Richardson launched about 2 Sooners there, but couldn't get the shot off.
Taj Gray out here on Charles Richardson. That had to have been a switch. Well, you've got to flatten out and go 1-4 flat. Good recognition right now by Nebraska. Trying to isolate.
There they get him back. Now Gray's got back on Wilkinson, and Godbold comes out on Richardson. 9 to shoot. Oklahoma with another good defensive stand. Richardson lets it fly from way outside and in and out. And the rebound to Nate Carter.
Boy, an entire possession, the ball never got closer than about 22 feet from the basket.
Everett backs it out for Oklahoma. The Sooners leading by 4 with 4:35 left in the first half here in Lincoln. Big 12 conference season underway. Big day for Kansas. They hammered Kentucky today. And a lot more action to come today and tonight. Godbold in the corner, no. How about Baylor? They haven't been able to play a game yet this year, and now they've got to wait a few more days before they finally do get to play.
Cannot even imagine what those kids have gone through. That's a big basket for Charles Richardson. Only his 3rd three-pointer of the season.
You know, whatever Baylor does this year, credit to him.
It's interesting, a switch, another adjustment by Barry Collier. A 1-3-1 half-court defense. Look for the diagonal passes, especially down in the short corner and up at the elbows. You attack the guy up top and the guy down bottom.
Shot by Godbold, low, look out. It's going to be called a jump ball. The possession arrow belongs to Nebraska. 24-23 Sooners in Lincoln.
Create your own holiday feast at Red Lobster. Combine 2 or 3 of your seafood favorites from 10 signature dishes, including our tender snow crab. Turn a meal into a celebration this holiday at Red Lobster.
They're called tiendas. Thousands of tiny storefronts across Central America that sell food and goods to millions. But delivering refrigerated food to them takes a different approach than for big stores. So Cargill built a creative distribution system, equipping salespeople with icebox scooters and handheld computers to call on the tiendas and deliver the small but essential inventory they need when they need it. This is how Cargill works with customers.
I do enjoy drinking Guinness at a tailgating party.
Yes, and I've discovered that the local custom is to wear cheese on your head. So, to fit in, I brought along some hunks of Limburger.
Limburger cheeseheads? Brilliant!
Brilliant!
I'm not so sure we're fitting in.
I smell feet.
Whatever the occasion, drink responsibly.
Brilliant!
Create your own holiday feast at Red Lobster. Combine 2 or 3 of your seafood favorites from 10 signature dishes, including our tender snow crab. Turn a meal into a celebration this holiday at Red Lobster.
You may think these are chocolate dipped cones from Dairy Queen, but look closer and you'll see 2 juicy DQ cheeseburgers. Now 2 for just $2.22. Look closer still, and you'll see 2 beefy double cheeseburgers for $3.33. Great treats and great food. At DQ, there's more than one way to treat yourself when you look a little closer. And finish off with a tempting Hawaiian blizzard treat.
Kansas over Kentucky in the top 25. Florida looks to remain unbeaten. They've never been 14-0 in their history. And can Marquette go 2-0 in the Big East? Cincinnati in Milwaukee. And, of course, Chris Piper. Back out to Reed and Fred, guys.
All right, thank you, Doug Bell. 3:43 left in our first half. Oklahoma by 1. Nebraska with the basketball. Wes Wilkinson back on the floor for Nebraska. Their leading three-point shooter. He's had a very quiet day. He has 2 points, 2 rebounds, and a block. Well, we
we talked about rebounds being a key to this game, and Cornhuskers doing a good job holding their own with that physical front line of Oklahoma.
Sooners went to a 2-3 zone, and they ran away from McRae at the top of the circle, and he missed a wide-open shot.
Joe McRae hit 2 3-pointers early in this basketball game, and then credit the defense of David Godbold has really locked him down. Here's that 1-3-1 again, and look for the diagonal passes down low. That's where you can really attack a 1-3-1.
The lookout was posted on Richardson for a moment. They didn't get him down there to him, but Godbold from the deep corner knocks down the 3. He has 8, and the Sooners lead by 4 again.
That's David Godbold's second 3-pointer, now 2 for 3, and a well-needed perimeter jump shot for the Sooners.
Richardson working behind the moving screen from Kyle Marks, and a foul called on Marks.
Here's that 1-3-1 defense again. You're looking at now they flattened out into a 2-3. Barry Collier really mixing up his defenses. He has switched defenses about 7 or 8 times here in the first half.
Everett in the deep corner, double team. The ball goes low to Taj Gray. He tried to shovel it across the lane. Nate Carter's got it. What a strong move. Wow. Oh, my goodness.
Exactly right. He's a left-handed kid. He took that left hand and pinned somebody and sealed him off, and that was a strong basket.
We talk about a tough bucket. Nate Carter's first field goal, and it's a 6-point lead to Oklahoma. That's the biggest lead of the day for either team.
Good move.
And DeRusso with the answer at the other end. He has 5.
Nice reverse pivot with a rip through to get the advantage and a step to the basket. Nice move by Jason DeRusso.
2 minutes left in the first half. Oklahoma up by 4. If somebody makes a run right at the end of the half here, they can really change the complexion of this game. Taj Gray, Carter, quick ball movement. Oklahoma. Terrell Everett let it fly, not there. Gray maybe got by with a push. He's got the rebound. What a great offensive rebounding team Oklahoma is. They average 17 offensive boards a game, and they got Nate Carter wide open down low.
That was strong. Terrific pass from Terrell Everett up there on the perimeter. That's that diagonal pass we were talking about down there on the baseline.
6-point lead, Oklahoma, a minute 24 left in the first half. Nebraska needs an answer. Joe McRae working off a Kyle Marks screen. Gives it up outside. Long try. Wilkinson missed the rim. Here comes Oklahoma up by 6. A minute 11 left in the half. Long try. Godbold won't go. Rebound Oklahoma. Everett down the lane. Hands it off to Kevin Bookout, and Bookout racks up his 10th point of the first half. Barry Collier calls timeout with a minute left in the half. His team down by 8. And I ask about the run one team or the other might make. Oklahoma's got it going.
Well, credit the energy of Nate Carter and the passing of Terrell Everett. Terrell Everett, 6'4", really a wing player, but man, is he running that point smooth.
Halftime, the Nissan halftime report in Studio 66. They'll talk about how KU today rocked, chalked, and Jayhawks, Kentucky. Big win for KU. Action from the top 25 in the battle in the Big East. Our buddies Chris Piper and Doug Bell are standing by.
You know, and it's never too early to start talking about RPI. And for a conference that everybody is assuming is down from what they traditionally are for the Big 12, that's a good RPI strength of schedule win for the Jayhawks.
Well, the conference was, 6, I guess, when the sun came up this morning. They could move up a notch or 2, depending on what happens. And really, Reed, this is the second of 3 seasons. The non-conference season, now we're into the conference season. Now is when it starts to become show and tell time for teams everywhere. And I think teams in this conference are simply going to get better as the conference season goes on now. The competition is going to be better. Here comes Nebraska, down by 8, needing a bucket with 55 seconds left in the half. Richardson against Terrell Everett. DeRusso turns and faces. Marks doesn't get a shot.
Boy, just terrific half-court defense.
What great defense by Nate Carter there. Got a hand on the ball. Now 15 to shoot for Nebraska. DeRusso. Wilkinson working low. They couldn't get it to him. DeRusso fires it to the play in the corner. Terrific defense down low by Oklahoma. Back out it goes to the deep corner. 3 seconds to shoot. Richardson from the top of the circle. No. Great work by Oklahoma.
Unbelievable. Looked like there were 8 guys out on the floor in crimson jerseys just then. Just terrific rotation. Great help. And man, that was a good possession for the Sooners.
Going to have the last possession is Oklahoma. They could go to the locker room up by 10 after a tight first half. Everett to Bookout. 4 seconds to shoot. Shot is short. Here comes DeRusso. 2 seconds. Lets it fly. And off the side of the rim, we've come to halftime. And Oklahoma, with a late spurt, has opened an 8-point lead over Nebraska here in Lincoln. Pretty good finish to the first half. Oklahoma up by 8 at halftime. We'll bring you back to Lincoln a little bit later. Right now, let's get you to Studio 66. Doug Bell and Chris Piper.
Fred, thank you, and welcome everyone to the Nissan Halftime Report inside Studio 66. I tell you what, Nebraska having a devil of a time getting any points inside. They're so perimeter-oriented, Oklahoma's defense.
Well, I think that's what Oklahoma does to you. They make you perimeter-oriented. They force you out on the perimeter. And, you know, the key here when you're looking at Nebraska, Wes Wilkinson, he has not been able to get off on or get on track against that size of Oklahoma. You know, the other thing that strikes me watching Oklahoma is how important Terrell Everett is to this team. He just makes plays happen. The ability to put the ball down on the floor, penetrate, get it to the big guys inside, and the big fella, Kevin Bookout. I mean, he just owns the space inside. I mean, that's his real estate. He makes sure he gets it.
Yeah, he's fun to watch when he seals off the Nebraska kids. All right, let's talk about Kentucky and Kansas, because this was not pretty from a Kentucky perspective. From the Jayhawks side of things, this is their best game of the season.
Unbelievable performance offensively by Kansas, and Brandon Rush, he just has a huge game, 24 points, 9 of 16 from the floor. You know, Kansas's offense looked at ease today. They have been a little forced, I think, throughout the season, but here this afternoon, taking good shots, always attacking. You see Brandon Rush just really getting whatever he wanted to, and they know he has the athletic ability. The thing that Bill Self has been asking Brandon Rush to do is be more aggressive. The penetration, the running the full court down. You know, Kansas has really done everything here that they have been talking about so far this season, just starting to finally put the components together. Kentucky, nobody in double figures for them. Kansas holds them to 46 points.
Yeah, that was frustrating to watch from a Kentucky side of things. Afterwards, ESPN's Doris Burke caught up with Bill Self, who was very pleased.
Gives us a lot of confidence. We've got some confidence over the last 5 games, but not anything like today. And going into Colorado on Wednesday, we better be playing better.
What pleased you most about what you saw out there today?
I would say our first shot defense was really good. You know, we didn't rebound the ball like we should, but our first shot defense was good, and we took care of the basketball.
All right, a lot of confidence heading into Wednesday's game at Colorado. Meantime, down south, Southeastern Conference, can the Gators go 14-0? Torian Green had something to say about that. That's next.
The new Nissan Xterra is 2006 Motor Trend Sport Utility of the Year. So we shared the award with our friends.
You're gonna fall behind me. You're gonna cry and beg for mercy. 'Cause you're not ready, baby. You got nothing on me.
The 2006 Motor Trend Sport Utility of the Year. The new Nissan Xterra.
You're gonna fall behind me.
Dad? I need $80.
$80?
Well, there's these jeans.
Because you don't have enough jeans.
Well, they're not just any jeans.
But you have to have them.
Yeah,
Do your friends have them?
everybody has them.
Are they designer jeans?
Yeah.
Active traders are always on, searching, prodding, questioning to find the next great investment idea.
So who's the designer?
Like you care.
No, I care.
Gorelli.
That's why active traders belong to Ameritrade Apex. We give you the tools to spot, analyze, and seize the market's many possibilities. Go to Ameritrade.com/getapex or call 888-506-9400. Join now and get one free trade for every 5 trades. Plus qualify for Apex and get $50.
Dad.
Oh.
Thanks.
Hmm?
There's these really cool shoes. Just kidding.
Welcome back to the Nissan Halftime Report from Studio 66. And down south, the Florida Gators are off to their best start in school history, and they put their 13-0 record on the line in Athens today against Dennis Felton's young puppy dogs. They're having a pretty good season, too, but in the end, this was